What up, man?
How are
Peace,
you, my brother? Yeah, it's
peace.
doing good.
That's all I got to say. Peace
Peace.
and share. Peace and share. We'll put that up in a little bit. Oh, shucks. Where's my phone? Where's my phone, man?
Here you go, folks. Aloha and welcome to another fun-filled night of trivia and facts with none other than Mel Raposo and Charles Iona on the Mel and Charlie Live. Today is February the 18th.
Oh, it's, it's almost March.
Yeah, today is
Almost.
February. Today is the 18th of February,
Yeah, man.
and it's Thursday. And it's Thursday. And I'm glad everybody could join us tonight. And and again, I like to pay homage and thanks to the many loyal viewers that have joined us day in and day out. I mean, remember in the beginning when we missed a day? Oh, you and I, we got good scolding, and we apologize. But now we give you adequate warning when we're gonna take one day off. We put it out there because we know, like, no pilikia. And
Again, share, share, share.
yes, so we welcome you all. Thank you. And Brother Mel, how's your day today, brother?
It was pretty good. Um, oh, Jesus. It's a Nine Tails Day, guys. It's a Nine Tails Day. Nine Tails, Pokemon Nine Tails Day. I have my little toys over here. I never thought I'd ever be interested in Pokemon, but my day was good. It was a busy day. I had to head out to the beautiful West Side with my partner Joe Adric. We had an awesome time. One of the things that Charlie, you can relate to this is, when you work in law enforcement, you're a police officer, you get your beat partners, you get that bond, and what a lot of people don't know is my partner now, Joe Adric, who's a little older than me, but when he came into the police department back in '87 or whenever it was, I was his trainer. Believe it or not, I was his field trainer. So we built that bond, and then we worked together in various times throughout our careers. And then fast forward to last year, and I joined his department, the prosecutor's office, and he's my trainer. So, we talk a lot about the old days, and we talk about, the challenges now for law enforcement. And it's like when you and I, Charlie, when we talk, it's a different discussion than you have with others, close friends that are not in law enforcement. It's just a different discussion. And you know how we can talk for hours, Charlie, like two wahinis. We can go like for two wahinis. Like two wahinis, we can talk forever. And that's kind of how it is. So it's wonderful when you work with a partner that you love as a brother, and that I have that relationship with you, and I just had a wonderful
Hey,
time.
brother.
Now
You know,
we did have, real quick, Charlie, real quick. We
mm,
had a scheduled guest. I'll let Charlie explain. We
yeah.
had a guest scheduled for tonight, and it's so ironic that. And again, I'll let Charlie. Why don't you go ahead and explain what happened?
Yes, tonight our guest comes to us all the way from the state of Washington. He was on before with Auntie Allah, Brother Gomes, Stephen Gomes from Oman. He was supposed to be on, and he wrote to us, and he arrived on Wednesday, but because of a scheduling glitch with Kaiser and the quarantine program here on Kauai right now, he said, "Oh shucks, brother, I gotta go back already," because he wasn't able to, you know, because of the scheduling glitch, he wasn't able to do everything he wanted to do. And I said, "No problem. We were going to have him on tonight." But he just said, "Please convey my my apologies." And so, it's understandable. Um, we've had that happen before, and really, our guests were at their beck and call. We are basically at their beck and call. So when they're available, we accommodate them because they actually are accommodating us. Especially when you get a guest like Minnie Cole or Jerome Kim or Murtaza Akhtar. They're from a different time zone, so we gotta work around them. but a lot of times they have bent backwards to kind of meet as close to our guidelines as possible, and we appreciate it. So that's what happened, brother. That's what happened.
Yeah. It
So
just goes to show how Kauai how it works.
right,
And some people may think that's extreme, but that's why we're safe. And that's part of the discussion we're gonna have tonight about the mayor's announcement, today's op-ed in the paper. But Brother Gomes came. He figured he could call somebody, and somebody could help him out. And what
yeah,
happened was when he called Kaiser, the trusted partner, he left it up to them. He told them when he was leaving, and they told him when to come in and get the test. And lo and behold, he went one day too early. So when he arrived here, and when they checked the dates, it not valid. And they told
yeah,
him he had the options that everyone else has. You can go quarantine for 10 days, or you can go stay in a resort bubble for 3. And he opted, and he came home to take care of family stuff, that he needed
yeah.
to be out and about. So he went back
Well,
home.
plus two, even if he had taken a test, he would have had to be in the state for at least 3 days to get that clearance, right? To take
3 days, 3 days.
3 days. He
Yeah.
would have to have that clearance
Yeah.
to get out. So, um, hey, but I wanted to touch about one thing that you said about that camaraderie. Really, it's the brotherly love when you're in the Blue Army. It's funny that when I got into the police department, it times were different. Times were different. It's back then. You look at everybody now; they have that automatic weapons. Back in our time, it was like almost one slingshot and one 6-shooter with that security 6. And the weapons that we had on Maui was 357 Magnums, but they didn't trust us with the heavy bullets, so they gave us 38s because same diameter fit, but it's just shorter. What was funny is I felt because the unit I was in, there was only 2 guys from Honolulu, me and this other gentleman who is now working at the AG's office. He retired and went to work at the AG's office. Being from Kalihi, we just never take no BS on Maui, especially in the housing area. And we used to go and clean up. You know what is so funny after all these years? I'm at the age where, if somebody come and false crack me, so be it. I'm going to try as much as possible not let that happen. But I just don't want to urge for go wring somebody's neck like before. You just mellow out. You're just like, hey, man, love you, man. I don't,
Like I said,
I don't know what
like I
it is.
said, peace, man, peace.
Yeah, you look at them, they're ready to jump on you. Say, hey, brother, can I offer you a Snicker? Can I offer you a Snicker?
But I think that's a lot of people have it's hard to appreciate the bond between
Yeah.
you gotta understand that when officers go into a scene that's a bad scene, I am putting my life in his hands or her hands, and vice versa. And the trust
Right.
level is incredible. And it's the same in the military. It's that bond it's unique. Once you arrive at that scene, man, it's the unit and it's the bond. And I'm just so thankful that Charlie, you and I both had that opportunity, and it comes with and the spouse has got to understand, and the family's got to understand. But it is what it is. Yeah, I want to say a special welcome to Roland Nita from Houston, Texas. He's
Ooh, yeah.
out of commission for a while because they got hit hard with this. He didn't have electricity for a while. So welcome back, Roland. Our prayers go out to you and your family out there, and to all of you that are on the mainland suffering with this storm and these blizzards. And my God, it's bad, and it's not going to get better soon. So,
And they don't have
we'll go
water.
back. Like I said, this is gonna be my last one. Share.
They,
Share,
they,
share, share. We got some important things to talk about tonight.
they don't have water pressure, right? So, the toilets can't flush, the boilers can't run. I mean, thank God, Hawaii, if you don't more water for toilet pressure, and we get plenty store, I know guys will be outside making popsicles right now.
Yep.
They'll be making Tootsie Roll popsicles. I know you guys. Don't say, no, not me. No, I know you would. Because that's Hawaii for you.
That's it, man. Something happens to Hawaii people when they see snow. You know, it's a metamorphosis. It's a
Yeah.
metamorph. Ooh, that's a big word, Charles. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
I'll
Something
take
changes.
metamorphosis for 300.
Charlie,
Yes, yes, sir.
unfortunately, Alex Trebek passed away.
Right,
He
right.
was definitely the backbone of Jeopardy. But can you can you imagine, Charlie, if you and me were on that show?
We in the final round, the final Jeopardy round, we would do the thing and they go, Charlie, how much did you bet? Well, I had nothing to bet with but zero. Yeah, that would be us.
Before we get into the topic, and by the way, we will be talking about the mayor's announcement or the mayor's op-ed. But I gotta, bro, how's this? Okay, so my daughter comes home one day. She's young. I forget how old she was. She was a kid, a baby, like in school, elementary. I think it was elementary. She comes home and she says, "Dad, Mom, I won the spelling bee." I said, "Wow, congratulations! I won first place. I won first place. I get to go to Honolulu and enter the state championship." I was like, "Wow!" I was so proud of my girl. So we get up to Honolulu. It's at I swear it was at the convention center. It was big. This is the big one. And she's like, "Dad, I don't know how to spell." I said, "Of course you know how to spell. Of course you know how to spell. You just won the." But Dad, it was easy words. It was all easy words we had, and they gave them some words to take a look at. She said, "Dad, I'm scared." I said, "No, sister, you're gonna beat them. You're gonna go up there and you're gonna do well." So my wife and I are watching this thing, and they give her the first word. And my daughter, she's just like, she cannot wait to leave to go to the water park or wherever we went. And she's like, "Freeze!" And I'm like, "Answer, bro." It was torture for the parents. I felt so sorry for her. Obviously, she didn't win, but she was just happy to get out of
Hey,
there.
not the guy you was walking out. He goes, "Hey, whose kid is that?" Not that guy that like, whose kid is that?
Well,
Kid,
bro, it was obvious. You know, all the parents from the Iolanis and the Punahos and all of that, they all looking and thinking, "How did this? Where you guys found this girl?" But my girl developed into a wonderful young lady, and I'm very proud of her. But it was just one of those things, you know. It's anxiety and everything else. Just it was whatever. Who
Hey,
the hell?
not the guy, the first word they give your daughter, you whisper to Patsy, honey, you know how to spell that word? I don't know.
Exactly. Like, what the hell kind of word is that? When are you going to use that word in a sentence? Really? Come on, man. So what the
Hey,
hell? You know, I tell you, my wife taught my daughter how to cook. I taught my daughter how to bake. I taught my daughter how to spend money.
man,
So she's all set, man.
brother, I tell you today, another great moment in history. Perseverance landed on Mars. I mean, that was a sight to behold. The Jet Propulsion Lab, they sent that rover to go look for life on Mars. And I'm glad for them. But you know the way we've been having things with all kind of numbers being reported here in Hawaii. I can just imagine. We get one big screen for everybody to see. Yeah, yeah. T minus 1 minute. We are 13 for a touchdown. And young guy right next door, he's been manipulating like one video screen. He get his
Yeah.
own. And they show a picture that says, now we get the caption from the lunar surface. And the thing look real. Ah, Could have been the dirt pile over my front yard. I wouldn't know the difference as long as you know show cars coming by. The bugger will know the surface.
You know,
I'm happy. I'm happy.
I know, this is just me, right? And one of the things about this show, Charlie, we say what's on our heart, we say what's on our mind,
Yep.
and please don't nobody ever take offense to what we say, because it's never intended that way. But I gotta tell you this: number one, why the hell are we spending that kind of money in the middle of a pandemic to go land an aircraft or whatever the hell it is on Mars?
Because in case we gotta run away from COVID.
I mean, I watched this and I see up comments. Everybody's so excited and yeah, we want to go up there and see if any signs of life. Why? We know one thing. There's a lot of signs of life on Earth. There's a lot of signs of life that are struggling on Earth. So why? It's almost like Honolulu and the state talking about building a $350 million stadium when people are starving and struggling. So don't get me wrong. I think space exploration is good. But right now we get people that are struggling. So couldn't we have waited a little bit and maybe while Congress is fighting about how much money people should have, maybe we should postpone those things.
I think I know why. I know why. I tell you why. Because looking for signs of life, study science. But there is a good possibility they would have found out maybe one unemployment system that works up there.
It probably does.
Yeah.
It probably does. I tell you, man, I watch these things and I just think like, do the leaders in our wonderful country, do they have any understanding of what it's like to struggle and not knowing how long this is going to last? You go land your little fancy remote control vehicle up on Mars. God bless all of you. Okay, maybe you won the race with the other countries. And I guess you'll get some kind of certificate, or tonight they're probably all drinking, getting drunk, celebrating that they were able to land one machine on Mars. I just think, guys, now is the time. You put all that projects on the side and you divert the revenue, all those monies over to help people, our own people. Our own people. I mean, the hell with the Martians. I could care less about the Martians. I don't care about the Martians.
Brother, just check read some of the comments that just came in about what they're gonna find on Mars.
Oh God, I just saw that one. I just saw that one. Yeah, look at Marley says you can land a rocket on Mars, but you can't keep electricity in one of the richest states. My point exactly, Marlies. My point exactly. You can land one thing on Mars, which is hot, but we cannot find a cure for cancer. We cannot find a cure for COVID. We cannot find, come on, man, let's go.
And also, I just want to put a public apology out there. I know I'm laughing because laughing for me is when I'm frustrated, but I'm gonna laugh. So I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing because I'm frustrated.
One of my that's like my wife always tells me, Mel, you sometimes you just unfiltered. Well, I am, and every one of you out there watching have the opportunity to exit. If like I said, nothing is ever personal. This is just how I feel right now. When I watch that happen, actually I didn't watch it. I saw the thing on Facebook, like everybody's excited, like, yay, I really. The stadium pisses me off even more right now, because that's definitely not something we need. But they talk about things like, we build a stadium, all the restaurants, the vendors. Come on, people, we're in a damn pandemic. I don't know what part of that they don't understand.
Mm.
I would be so shamed. I would be so shamed to go up and justify right now $350 million for a stadium. I, as an elected official in the state legislature, would be embarrassed to go up and justify. At least the governor said we don't have the money right now.
Not
We
only
can't.
that, brother, you can be they can be touting the stadium. We have a brand new 100,000 seat stadium, state of the art. If it was built right now, guess what? You can only put 10,000 inside there. What the hell are you talking about? Jesus Christ.
We can get 10,000 people to watch a UH game.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, it's just some of the things that I think about during the day that I get frustrated because, guys, 350 million can do a lot. I don't know what the hell it cost for that Mars thing today. I not participated, but I was present at some of our PMRF exercises uh, where they launch missiles to intercept other missiles, and the cost of these projects are out of, no pun intended, out of this world. It's out of this world, and come on, guys. And then you guys grumbling about, should we give them 600 or $1,000 a piece, one payment? What the hell is that gonna do? What the heck is that? Golly, we're gonna get $1,000. We're gonna get 1,400. We get 2,000. Okay, you pay your rent. Done. We struggle again, and that to me, I think, is the frustration. It's the frustration. So anyway, I'm sorry to digress. That just when you talked about Mars, it kind of triggered that in my heart.
Well, if I knew it would be a sticking point, I would have digressed to Koloa Town. Remember, folks, share tonight's segment, and I'm going to share this with me, myself, and I right here.
I know George was not making fun. He was quite impressed with my. So I can share my Pokemon. This is just a few. This is just a few of them. I have a bunch of them. It's all nice stuff. If anybody's serious into Pokemon, let me know. We can make a deal. I have 45 of them all right here, stacked up in their plastic cases, graded. Serious inquiries only, because they are for sale. That money goes to my kids because that's their cards. Anyway, so Charlie, today
Yes,
we get the op-ed in the morning's paper.
mm-hmm.
Our mayor explaining that it has come the time to start looking at possibly re-entering the Safe Travels program. That in fact, Kauai has done a great job. That the state's numbers are have come down. Although we don't know how the hell they're counting the numbers. We know that they're shortcutting, or not shortcutting, but they're how did they describe it in the article? Undercounted or whatever. They never give us all the numbers because they have an electronic glitch in the reporting. One damn year, and we have an electronic glitch in the electronic reporting. Charlie,
For some reason, that high that high price ticketed item that the state purchased to do counting, apparently cannot count up to 3 digits. So what I did is I did find something online and I posted it today. And it's quite fascinating. It teaches children from the age of 2 and under how to count with their fingers. So I think with the amount of cases that we have now, you could basically count it on all your fingers. But they just don't want to pay overtime for the person to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the first, or make the hash mark here, 1, 2, 3, 4 slash. So you got 5, push that on the side. Here comes the next one. No more that broad thinking. Doesn't have that broad way of thinking.
well, this much we know, and I put this up today for people to see. I don't know if you can see that or not, but so this is people been asking, and we see the comments scroll on our show about how much are we testing, how much are we testing. So what I did was I took the numbers from February. the most current. This comes right out of Haima. This is what is reported. So this is kind of why when you look at the oh, sorry, my scroll wasn't working. If you look in on the 1st of February, a little over 4,000, the second 5,000, and you can see on the 7th it drops to about 2,800. But what's interesting is, remember, we've had that low counts in the last couple of days.
Yep.
Well, look at the 14th and the 15th, less than 2,000 and just a little over 1,500 on the 15th. That's all they had. They didn't have the numbers for the 16th and the 17th. So I think there's a direct correlation when you look at why are the numbers low? Well, because we're not testing. From the 12th, look at the decline in testing. So that is why I think we're seeing a much lower number. Oops. Uh-oh. That's the only thing when you share your screen, whatever come up shows to the screen. So anyway, that, people, is the answer of why I believe, anyway, we're seeing the lower counts is because we're not testing as much. From 5,000 down to 1,600. So yeah, you're gonna get a lower. You're gonna get a 2,500 for the whole planet. Anyway, so that is, I just wanted to pop that up because wanted to try to answer the questions that you guys have been asking. So the mayor comes out, he does his op-ed, and he lets Kauai know that he looking at returning to safe travels in the late spring. Late spring could mean any part of the months, but so I contacted and the reason I'm bringing this up is, and I did call the mayors, I did speak with the mayor's office today, and to get some clarification, because I can say this. I know the timing looks suspicious because you had all this angry business people, but I can tell you this, and this I can tell you personally, and this is not what I heard, this is what I know. I speak with the mayor's office frequently about COVID, about questions, about concerns. And I know that the mayor and his team have been asking or have been discussing this return to safe travels now for several weeks. That in fact, the numbers, because of the low numbers on Kauai, that they were talking about it. And in fact, right as of this moment, they are working on the draft to send over to the governor's office for approval. They plan to get the draft of the rule change to the governor by early next week. How long it takes the governor to approve it is another story. They anticipate getting that back relatively quickly, hopefully by the end of the week. But once they have the discussions and they discuss the reopening, it won't be a reopening, re-entering into the safe travel program, then they will have a more definite date for all of us. They don't know what it's going to be right now, and a lot of it is dependent on what discussions, what the outcomes of the discussions with the governor and the state leaders will be. Keeping in mind that Kauai is different, right? We've had that discussion. I think the governor made it very clear that his concern was Kauai's medical resources. So that discussion hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen once the rule change gets submitted early next week. The other component that the mayor's offices and the mayor's team is working on right now is trying to ensure that all hospitality industry workers, including hotel workers, restaurant workers, bar employees, all of the hospitality industry, not just the hotel industry, but the hospitality industry, ensuring that all of the employees have an opportunity to get vaccinated. Because that is a concern. I think that's a concern for all of us, is sending people back into back to work into a hotel on a one-test system and not be vaccinated. So that is the other moving part right now that the mayor and his team is working on pretty much as we speak. So I wanted to get that out of the way because I read the comments today, a lot of the negative comments that I saw on the county's Facebook page, some nasty comments. But I think, to be fair, the mayor has always made it clear that his focus was on keeping Kauai safe, keeping our hospital beds open. Remember, not just for COVID, but for normal surgeries and patients, heart attacks and strokes and so forth. I did see one comment today that I did want to address, and I can't remember who posted it, but somebody came out and posted that, everybody knows that if you get COVID on Kauai, you're going to be shipped to Honolulu anyway. That's not true. That is simply not true. In fact, keeping your patients stable is key. And to take a patient from here who's suffering from respiratory distress, get them on an airplane, on a small airplane, and get them over to Oahu can be more detrimental because the treatment is the same. It's not like Honolulu has more cancer specialists or, the specific types of medical treatment. COVID is COVID. It's treated the same here as it is in Honolulu. So anyway, that was not a true statement. I want people to know that the fact when we fill up, yes, they're going to have no choice but to send you to Honolulu. But Charlie, you know this, transporting a person in serious condition is dangerous. And I know this because my son got medevac when he was an infant. We went through that whole procedure and the discussion about there's a 50-50 chance he'll make it if we put him on a plane. So it's not true. Not every COVID patient gets sent to Honolulu from Kauai. That's just simply not true. In fact, our good friend who did pass away from COVID here on Kauai passed away on Kauai. He didn't pass away on Hawaii. He was not stable enough to be transported. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way, clear the air, because I think it's important that we understand facts and not fiction. And so anyway, that's how we roll in, Charlie. Charlie's eating his Snickers, man.
No,
Oh,
this is seedless Li Hing Mui cherry. If you can get some, this thing is addictive because it's not salty and pucker power like regular Li Hing Mui, but this is the cherry. I tell you, thanks to Mrs. Iona, I can be on a collapsed building until they find me. Just leave me a couple bags. I will survive on this stuff. Let me tell you. Let me say one thing about medevacing. I was medevac as an adult. Okay, I was conscious. I was stable, but they decided that I needed quick intervention because my troponin levels is rising, and what it was saying is that I was about to have a massive heart attack waiting, and they needed to get me to Queens. Here's the danger. 300 pounds, 6'1", on a gurney. You don't medevac on a commercial flight. You medevac on a small Cessna. So guess what? They put you in a plane, they turn you sideways. Okay? And here's the other thing. They had the crash rescue at PRMF, 6 of them that had to hoist me in the plane. Now, when they lock you in the plane, you got equipment all over you. If they don't lock you right, you're going to slide right out of equipment with a monitoring machine will be right up to your nose like this. And a lot of times when you do fly out, if it's at night, guess what? Total darkness. And for the people on Maui, you remember that mid-flight that had disastrous consequences, right? It crashed right in Kahului.
Oh, yeah.
And those people perished, okay? So flying optimally would be in the daytime. But whenever that call comes and you gotta go and they don't have room on Kauai and the only chance you get is at night, that in and of itself, crossing that channel, it ain't that simple, gang.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine was held up at Wilcox waiting for a bed on Oahu. By the time it opened up and he flew over, guess what happened? He didn't make it. I'm not gonna say his name, but all of you know who he is. He and I played music. I first started my music career with him. He used to work at Scotty's Music. So that should be a hint who this. I love this brother dearly. He didn't have to go, but it's just that there wasn't enough room at the time and they had to wait. So it's a waiting game. And like you said, Mel, when COVID hits, it will take up space for those who maybe someone who has a stroke,
Yeah,
somebody who has
it's
COPD that needs a hospital bed. All of those beds are going to be taken, could be taken because of the COVID. So we're just adding more problems to the mix, and we're trying to say, how can we mitigate that so we don't add problems? But I get it. I get it.
yeah. I watched Dr. Wong's show today, his most
Yes.
recent show, and he talks about his fears of the next big surge, which he predicts will be in March because of the variant. We just found out a new variant case here in Hawaii, on Oahu. It
Yes.
was a case that was related to the first variant case. This thing is very contagious. Dr. Wong said they found out that it was 70% more transmissible. Now they're figuring that it's down to 40, but nonetheless, it's still more contagious. So because of the variant starting to pop up in the United States and even here in Hawaii, he's expecting the next surge to be a big one, and he's not the only one. Many experts are predicting the next surge to be worse than the last one because of the variants and the fact that controlling the variant is challenging. So I will put the post up. He uses foul language, so it's not for people that get offended by foul language because he uses it quite frequently. But he's frustrated. He's frustrated, and it was interesting. One of the comments that he said, and he was talking not about Hawaii but about the mainland, and he said what he doesn't understand is how the governors of certain states are restricting the mayors, specifically the mayors from cities and counties, from doing what's best for their communities, which was kind of bizarre to hear that coming out of Dr. Wong, who's a retired surgeon out of Texas. So I'll post it up tonight, and you guys can go ahead and watch it if you're not offended by foul language, because he says a lot. So we will see. We'll see how it goes. Surge in infection, not death. He didn't say that. He's concerned that the surge. What happens is it's. He said it's not. They don't think it's more mortal or more deadly, but more people with the virus causes more people to get sick. And hopefully the vaccinations are in place. Everybody takes the vaccine, and so we can limit the level of sickness in our community. So there's a lot of moving parts in this thing.
Well, you know
So
what a lot of
okay.
people, just to re-clarify something, the more sick people we get, you will need healthy professionals like frontline workers to tend to those sick people. And guess what? There is right now a shortage. So a lot of times people said, hey, put up one of those military tents. Okay, who gonna man the tents? What do you like us to put you in there and then nobody tend to you? Because, we'll check on you when we get the time. That's what's gonna happen. So come on, we gotta be realistic now. Just because you're gonna structure up doesn't mean we can put you in there, because somebody needs to tend to you. Especially if you're having a difficult time breathing, somebody has to monitor the vent. Somebody has to know how much to put into you without blowing you up, without getting you worse. But if there's not enough specialists like that, then what do you do? See, there's this balancing act going on. And when you see frontline workers pleading and crying and just exhausted, they're only human too. They can only do so much. They can only go from room to room in one day. Like most of us, we give a chance to take a bite, take a break, take a coffee break. If you're into smoking, go take a smoke break on the rooftop or whatever. These people, they go from one emergency to the next. And guess what? They don't work 8-hour shifts. Many of them
And
work 12, 16 hours.
you know, and I see Russell Izumo is on. Russell, God bless you, man. You one of the lucky ones that survived it. Barely. You still struggle with it today. And I think a lot of people, if you don't watch our show regularly and you didn't catch the segments that we had, survivors, they're not recovered by any stretch, but they're survivors. They didn't die. But if you
Right.
talk to them, George Mine, and these that were in the hospital for months, one thing that they talk about is the constant care that is required by a COVID patient. Constant care. I mean, 24/7, one-to-one care. So I see a lot of the comments. I saw it today again. What did the mayor do in the last year for getting more hospital beds? Well, number one, the county is not responsible for that. Number two, like Charlie said, it doesn't matter how many beds you get. Where's the personnel? Where's the personnel? The other thing I saw is why hasn't this county done anything about getting the kids back in school? I agree with you guys. Kids need to go back in school, but that's not the county's function. It's a state DOE. So
We
I
brought
think
them on before. We brought them on before to explain that.
yes, yes.
So apparently, whoever posed that question, maybe you had missed that, but we had posed a question to the superintendent for Kauai.
Yeah, I think it's clear. I mean, and so I think we gotta look at what authority is the mayors, the governors, the department heads, and I think that's I know right now a lot of people are frustrated, a lot of people and a lot of people looking to blame somebody.
Mhm.
You blame the virus. You blame the virus, and we gotta be more cognizant of wearing our masks now than ever before. Because don't let for a minute, don't think that COVID has left Kauai.
Hey,
We
Mel.
we know how quick. We're no different than any other community that's on the mainland or in any other country. It doesn't take much, and I think that's the dilemma decision makers have is where is that balance? How do we get our economy restarted and not risk people's lives? And that's a tough nut to crack. Tough nut to crack.
And a good friend, I just saw a post. He heard that teachers don't like go back to the classroom. Guess what, folks? Some don't want to go back until they're safe, until they can get vaccinated themselves. They don't want to go back. So if you got teachers that don't want to go back, what are you going to do? You're basically asking for those who want their kids to go back to school. You're basically asking for a babysitting service. That's all you're going to get if you're not going to have teachers there.
And what
Another thing I wanted to
So
say was,
real quick, real quick. I just want to interject real quick. Why aren't our teachers being vaccinated?
yeah,
Why are we putting pressure to get them back in school, but we're not going to give them vaccinations? So I fully support that. You want
mhm,
the teachers back in school, you vaccinate them.
mhm.
You vaccinate them, and you provide testing. We got to be safe, and same goes for the hotel workers, hospitality industry workers. We got to get them vaccinated and tested regularly. We
Well,
got to keep them safe.
I do want to say this, and again, we're brothers, but I'm going to say this, and this is not, it's, I just feel a need, I got to say it. No, I forgot what I was going to say. No, it's coming back. Wait, give me time. It's coming back. I'm having a senior moment. Okay, I know what I'm going to say now. Okay. As a musician, those of you who know me, I'm a clown on stage because we get hecklers once in a while. And one time I went a little bit overboard, and I even made those who were um, supporters of ours got a little bit miffed that I kind of went overboard and attacked this heckler verbally. So what did that do? That made me change the way of how I handle hecklers because you don't want to turn everybody against you, right?
Mhm.
So I learned. I hope and pray when everybody go back to work, this time we have the time to reset the clock and do things a little different because there are some businesses, not all, some, I swore I'd never go back because they had attitudes. I hope and pray that when they're given a second chance, they can revamp and make it a better experience, even for locals like myself. And you know what? I'm willing to give that a second try. But if I still get the same service, then shame on me. I was stupid enough to go back. But I hope and pray we all take this time for reset our clocks and do it better. Okay? That's why when we talk to Chipper Whitman and everybody down at Hyena, what they get going on out there, they had an opportunity to share the beauty of Kauai, but they did it smart. They reset the clock and say, hey, we cannot just flood the area with visitors. We got to regulate, send so many at a time so the vehicles itself don't destroy the area. The people walking on the beaches with all the opala, they don't mess up the area. We got to do that. That's what I want to see happen because I want things to be preserved for a long time. But it ain't going to happen if we can just take advantage and run them the same old, same old. And usually it's the corporate level, right? Make the money and run. That's what they say. We make the money and run. Forget about the workers. No, workers, you got vested interest. Tell the corporate that, hey, we're in this together. So let us all reset the clock and let's do it the right way. No, let them make the money and dig out a dodge, as they say.
Awesome. I'm seeing the post. Thank you guys for correcting me about the vaccination on teachers. It's good to hear that we are vaccinating our teachers, and that's a good thing. That's the first step in getting our teachers back in the classrooms, and that's a good thing. And again, hospitality workers, hospitality industry workers need to have the same protections before they're allowed to go to work. Now they have an option of not taking the test, but my point is it has to be offered. It has to be available. I mean, really, you know, I think it's just critical that we get all of our people that's going to be asked to. Remember now, we're talking about people that are going to be coming to our island that only had one test. And I don't know if you heard this, Charlie. This just came out. Because of the storms on the mainland, the state just extended the 72 hours to 96 hours. So for the next 4 days, visitors that are coming to Hawaii, they've extended where it's now 72 hours before arrival, it's now 96. So 4 days before, which gives them that extra day now to contract the virus from their cities or towns before they come to Kauai. No second test, remember, no second test. I did want to share, I don't know how many of you guys were on with us when we had the representatives on. I'm going to share that slide again because I think it's very, very, very important that we understand. Now, I'm not going to get into the debate about the economy because I don't know. I posted some occupancy rates. I saw the post that's saying that's not accurate. I get it from DBED. I don't know where else I can get it from that's more accurate from the state's DBED office, but I use what I have available. So if it's wrong, I apologize. That's the only available information I have. So when you're comparing each island and you look at the graph, the change in occupancy from when we went to safe travels on October 15th was not a drastic change for Honolulu and for Maui, where they have no restrictions. But more importantly, I think, is the numbers involving Kauai. Because as you all know, Kauai is the only county, and if you guys saw this already, I apologize for the duplication. But I think it's important that people understand what we're facing here on Kauai. October 15th was when safe travels opened up for the entire state, including Kauai. Now, since October 15th, this is just Kauai now, and these numbers are old because this was as 2 days ago. We had 4 more cases. The last 4 cases on Kauai were all travel related and were identified in a bubble resort. They were in quarantine and they were determined to be positive while they were at the bubble resort in the quarantine period. That was the last 4 cases, but and I just got that information late this afternoon. I wasn't able to fix the slide. But 150 cases on Kauai, 103 travel related. Now, again, I apologize for those of you that saw this the other night. 103 travel related, 69%. 11 travel associated, which means a person never traveled, but was got it from someone that did travel. Travel associated, 7%. So 76% of our positive cases when we opened safe travels on Kauai were travel related. 24% or 36 of those cases were community spread. Remember, this is not variants, guys. This is just regular COVID. Now, the bulk of these cases were within the initial weeks of the program, and we saw those numbers rise. Remember, you remember, we started to see the numbers every single day. Travel related, travel related, travel related, travel related. Everybody got concerned, including the mayor. Out of the 103 travel related, not travel associated, but the ones that directly were related to travel, 53 or 51%, more than half, had negative pre-travel tests, but later tested positive while they were on Kauai. Imagine that, more than half. Now, okay, let me finish. 30% of them, 31 of them had a positive pre-travel test, but they didn't get the results till after they arrived on Kauai. Those were the ones that we let in, right? Then they got their results after they arrived. And all of a sudden, boom, isolation, quarantine, and blah, blah, blah. This was what happened when we participated in safe travels from October 15th. Now, what I cannot find are the numbers for Oahu, Maui, and the Big Island, because they choose not to release this information. But as you can see, this is, and the only reason I'm bringing this up, people, is this is you should not be able to, you shouldn't expect anything different when we return to safe travels, because nothing else will change. In fact, many of the travelers may have been vaccinated and may be asymptomatic, and we'll never know that they're carrying the virus. But look at the numbers, look at the percentages. 76% related to travel or associated to travel. But the bigger number that I feel, the more scary number for me, is the 51% that had tested positive after they arrived. No quarantine. They had a negative pre-travel test. So they land and they go free, everybody. You guys understand that? They land, they go free. And 31 of them, this was before that second test was required, were able to come in and all of a sudden get the results after the fact. 30% of them. So I just want people to understand that this is what, if I was a betting man, I don't expect anything different when we return to safe travels. The reason why the other islands and the state doesn't release this information is because can you imagine if everyone knew, if the statistics were the same for all the islands or generally the same, which I see no reason why it wouldn't be, right? These people are coming from the same locations. They're using the safe or trusted partner testing facilities. Nothing different. They're not using Kmart tests or Crest Store tests. No, they're going to trusted partners. Everybody's doing the required PCR tests. I don't expect anything to be different. The only difference is that the other counties don't report it like that. The other counties have no idea how many of those people floating around Honolulu and Maui are positive because they don't report it. So I just want the people, now you make your decision whether or not that risk is worth the reward. You make that decision. Is that risk worth the reward of re-entering safe travels? I'm not going to get into that debate tonight, but because we're heading down that road and we'll see what happens. I only pray that we as individuals, knowing what we know and listening to facts, not rumors, not crap, but listening to data that is factual, understand that we better be more serious about wearing our masks, not congregating, washing our hands. I mean, listen, people, this thing can get bad real quick, but it can be good if we all, I'm talking to the residents, I'm not talking to the tourists, I'm talking about the local residents. If we all do our part, it actually could work, but that's yet to be seen. Anyway, I just try to appreciate you giving me that time. I wanted to share the numbers so people understand when they go out and say we got to open up, understand what that comes with, what the consequence will be. The reason why Kauai is at 1 case, 0 case, 0 case, 0 case is because Kauai does things differently because our mayor saw the need. That's why I actually feel bad when people personally attack him because he only did what he felt he could. The only thing he could do because the governor. Remember now, the governor rejected his plea to have a second test on our island. So anyway, that's kind of where it is, bro. Thanks for the time. I'll be quiet now.
Well, I can tell you right now, I feel very confident from the people, the 158 of you that are on right now. You folks side with the argument that was just made by Mel. I believe that because that's why you're on. You're not on for any other purpose. You're on because you care. I know you care. And I hope I'm reaching you when I say that because I sincerely mean it, that I know you care. But then there's a vast majority of you that might not have logged on through this process where we don't know if you're watching us or not. But I know you don't care. Because if somebody gets sick, he says, hey, I don't care, I'm going home. No affect me. Let me tell you this. We got 9 ICU beds. We can go up to 20 with modifications done. Okay, that's it. Just by the numbers that Mel talked about, 31%. Okay, just by those numbers alone. And the cases were 150 cases or less of infected cases. Correct, Mel? Correct me if I'm
Correct.
wrong as I'm going along.
No,
Take-
that's
You take
it's higher
31% of
now.
that. Okay, what is 10% of 150? 15, right? So 20% is 30. 30%, which you had 31%, right? You're looking at about 45 cases. Okay. Guess what? If we can get maximum ICU beds of 20, where the rest of the beds coming from? That's 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 the stark reality of it all. And what's happening now, and I think I was trying to, I was trying to tell you that earlier, is that we've got experts that are kind of pondering, hey, how come the numbers are different? It's way off the mark than what we predicted. It's much lower. But yet there are experts like Dr. Osterholm who still hold to the position and the head of the CDC now that they are worried that with the variant, it will come. It's only a matter of time when. Okay. So during this period of time, I don't want anybody to get the sense that, oh, we can be lax now because they're loosening things up. Okay. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of you telling me, oh, Charlie, I got to go home early tonight, but we're just going to have 2 beers. You've been through that route before, Mel. We're just going to have
Yeah.
2 beers. You get the second beer, whoo, Bugger takes, oh, I'm going to have one more. Next thing you know, you're still over there dancing on a stage. And you're looking, your friend looking at you with the watch, and brother, we're supposed to go home an hour ago. Hey, one more, one more, one more, one more. That's what's going to happen. That's when the complacency factor says, yeah, not going to happen. You're going to be too comfortable. You're going to get really comfortable. And that's why I've always said, if this government of ours, if this state of ours is going to do what they want to do, put out the damn messaging and do it right. Do it right. Because right now, the people that are doing the messaging is people like you and I and your viewers out there through Facebook, through social media. You guys are living the message. How come we got to do that? Because why? We know that the state doesn't want to do it. And that's all to it.
Yeah, I know, man. Sometimes I think that we're well. I mean, it's not, I can't, we are beating a dead horse. We're preaching to the choir. But no one else is, you know, when you, if you watch the news, and I talked about this with the representatives, you know, if you watch the news, you come off that thinking that we're in really good shape. Um, but when you listen to the experts that have been working on COVID throughout our country since the beginning, then you get a completely different tune. Um, Dr. Osterholm, uh, Dr. Osterholm is
Michael.
an epidemiologist that specializes in pandemics. They go into the nitty gritty of these little damn cells. He knows his crap. So how does a politician discount that? How? And if you're going to discount that, then come up with some science that validates what you're saying. You see, Charlie, I get really irritated when I hear,
Don't get irritated, please. Don't.
okay, I'm a
Don't.
little upset
Okay, that's good. That's good.
when I keep hearing when you see when you give people false hope, then you run into trouble if you cannot deliver. I was always taught you always under promise and over deliver. You see, in the Mayor's press in his update, he talks about late spring. Now, um, we don't know what that day will be. He will have a better idea of the date at the end of next week because he doesn't want to tell you we're going to do it now and it's delayed by the governor or whatever. I think that when if we're going to put out a message to the public, then it needs to be true. It needs to be factual, and whether good or bad. See, we're adults. We can take the good news. We can take the bad news. What causes problems, though, is when you put out a message, you sugarcoat it, you make it seem like everything is all groovy, like vaccines are coming in by the millions, and we're gonna get everybody every step of the way. We're gonna have everybody vaccinated soon, and then you get a snowstorm, right? And we only get a portion of the vaccines. But you've already led the people to believe that we are in such good shape. Well, the fact of the matter is that the country is not in good shape as it relates to vaccines. The president himself said the ramping up of the vaccine distribution in this country will go to the states that are highest affected. The heaviest affected states will get the majority of the vaccines, not Hawaii. I just see. I'm a realist, and that's why people criticize when I was a politician. You know, when I was in the councils. Yeah, bro, your problem is you black and white. You know, politics is gray. Yeah, that's the problem. It's actually brown. It's actually brown. Daily count problem with machine graphs. No problem. Okay, you might have to explain that, Charles.
Yes. That's what you and I were talking about.
Yeah.
That's what you and I were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Because for some reason, the state's saying that the daily count, there's a problem with the counting machine. There's a problem with counting. A lot of the graphs that are put together rely on the testing and the daily count. So why are they saying that the graphs are correct, but the daily count is incorrect? Because something wrong with the machine. That's why I get miffed when somebody tells me, go look at this information because that's the up-to-date. Okay, where is that information coming from? Because on one side of the spectrum, they're telling us that we're not giving you the accurate numbers because the thing is that we're having problems with the counting, right?
Yeah.
So doesn't one rely on the other? Or
Yeah.
or it's like one person putting one bowl of Leonard's malasada and another putting another bowl of Bisquick malasada and telling you that they both from Leonard's malasada. No, it don't work that way, gang. Doesn't work that way.
Dr.
Okay.
Miskovich just submitted a link that talks that I'm gonna I, am gonna try to see if I can pull them up on the computer because I can't. I couldn't
Well,
go.
let me ask you, is that link anyway tied into the results from the miscount that doesn't work, or is it a new link that it's foolproof that we are supposed to listen to? I mean, what is it?
I don't know. I'm trying to pull it up, but we're gonna have to do it another day because we're running out of time. But no,
Yes,
he
yes.
said that what he's saying is that I'll read it because he posted it. He said, "Here's a link to the state data that details travel associated non-residents, travel associated residents, or community spread." But I'm not sure where to look because it's the whole website. It's the health department website.
No, the next line down, he got the link.
So I'll go check this out and if I can put it on a slide, I'll put it on a slide. This is the thing. This is the thing. The numbers I get is what I get from Kauai, from the Department of Health. Um, Remember, we count hours accurately. Whatever you see the state when a guy tests positive or the test was done in the mainland and we find out that he's positive later, they don't count it in the state. And if it's changed, I apologize. But that's what we were told that what Kauai does. Kauai calls it active cases, not tested. They because the virus is here on the island, we count it.
You know
And I
how
think it's
things are
how it should
different.
be.
You know how things are different. Watch the news. The news will always give the report of Oahu, Honolulu, Maui, and the Big Island. They bring Kauai always last because and Kauai had an independent case that's not part of the report.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is that? Is it because Kauai being honest,
Now,
and you telling me that the other islands wasn't honest all this time? I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
now, now, is it just a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that the legislature, Scott Psyche and others, including D, is it a coincidence that they want to change it and change the way Kauai does things? Really? So
I don't know. Anyway, gang, I hope you've had the opportunity to enjoy. And again, I mean, it is not polite for me to eat in front of you folks, but I'm just not the average Hawaiian. Because when I'm hungry for eat something, I go and eat, whether it's candy or linimui. And I apologize, but but it's very frustrating. And I'll give you another example of a graph that was put together in detail by information that was provided by a state entity that Mel showed, only to find out that that was incorrect because some hotels didn't participate in that information source. How the hell were we supposed to know about that? DBED didn't tell us. When we got the information from DBED, they just say, yep, here's the raw data, take it, use whatever you want. They didn't tell us that, oh, by the way, the hotels that closed, they didn't participate. They didn't say anything like that. Come on.
but
I
but
mean,
but again, Charlie, when you're looking at the analysis
yeah,
from January, I mean, once the COVID hit and once the hotels shut down,
yeah,
the trend doesn't change, right? So the hotels that are participating are open, whatever. Again, I'm not gonna. That's just whatever the case is. We know,
hmm
we know for a fact that tourism has dropped, and the fact that Kauai had a bubble program and we had a quarantine program. Yeah, it did affect Kauai's occupancy. It did. I mean, it's clear. We're at 14. We're at the end of the year. We're at 14%.
yeah.
My point is this: you using the numbers that I showed you about the cases. That's real. I don't care what the state's website says. Trust me, I put more faith in our Kauai reporting than the states. I'm just gonna say it. How can you not? How can you trust the state? It's like this, Charlie. It's like this. Um, you got a project. You got to go, whether it's a military or whatever, and you're gonna go and you got to go take care of a project. And the information, can you imagine? Information comes back, said, hey guys, there's 14 guys, armed people in there. 14, we think, because we have a problem with the reporting. So uh, I don't know what to tell you. It's we under reporting right now because our counting is wrong. So go put your project together, assuming that there's only 14 people. Now that's stupid. That's downright stupid. And that's what we do, right? We're using the numbers. We're using the numbers that are we know is inaccurate. We know the numbers that the state's giving us every day is inaccurate. Admittedly, they said so, but they're making assessments and planning using the faulty numbers. I will tell you something. That's irresponsible. That's dangerous, and that's criminal, in my opinion. Anyway, Charles, it's 6 after, buddy. We got to wrap this bad boy up.
Well, I just want to tell you, I have a crew standing by the Department of Health. Anytime there's incorrect numbers, we have a crew standing by that will get us the information. And this is one of the things we know when there's incorrect numbers that's going to be reported. Okay. We see the staff from inside the Department of Health in the back by the dumpster, rummaging through all the papers because the custodian will throw away all the data. So they're looking for them.
Yeah, you accidentally rip the mail that had your check inside full. You gotta go back and try to tape them all up together. Yeah, I know.
Uh,
So
anyway, thank you so much for joining us again. I had a wonderful time being on with you folks. And somebody asked me if we're gonna change directions. We got to see this thing through to the very end, because today might be one thing, tomorrow might be another. I told Mel already that if we're heading down a path that to me is going to be very, very dangerous, I'm sticking with it because I want everybody to know what the dangers are. I don't want any of you getting hurt because of some stupid decisions being made. And that's why I said, would be nice. I mean, you don't call a plumber to give you a colonoscopy, right? You go see a doctor. Because if you bring in a plumber, I'm gonna tell you this, you can get some pretty bad PVC out there. That's all I'm gonna say. So come on, we just gotta do it right. Okay? Thank you for joining us, and stay safe, everybody. Turning it back over to you, Melvin Raposo.
thanks, Charlie. Tomorrow night, Feel Good Friday, guys. We'll showcase some businesses tomorrow. We got Passion Bakery. We got the Waimea Town celebration. We're still trying to plug somebody in a third spot. You guys know anybody? Otherwise, you're gonna have to listen to me and Charlie again. Listen,
Yeah, rough.
Charlie touched on something. We started this a year ago. And a lot of people thought that we were doing this for political reasons. That Charlie and I got together. We're gonna do this show so Mel can get elected. It was never the intention of Charlie or myself to create a political show. What we wanted to do was provide information and education for our people, for our viewers, because you couldn't get it anywhere, and you still can't unless you go dig through websites and states. You try to go through the State Department Health website and go try to find what you need. What are we gonna change direction? Yeah, I think at some point we will. I think at some point we'll start focusing on local issues. I also want to bring on some musicians. I haven't spoken to Charlie yet. It's the first time he heard it, but I want to bring on some musicians, some local musicians that are out of work, that can come on and share their craft, as long as they can plug into Zoom and not sound like one. We get some good quality sounds. Put up their Venmo link. They can collect tips and also inform you guys of what they're doing and where they're performing. There's a lot of things that we want to do. We have this platform now, thanks to all of you. We've become an Ohana. We can agree to disagree, but this window is not gonna last forever, and we want to make the best use of it. So whether or not how long we stay, we don't know. That's gonna be dependent on you guys. We try to provide an honest platform for everybody. We try to get quality guests on so we can learn from the guests, and we hope to continue doing this as long as we can. And we can't do it without you all. If we didn't have viewers, we wouldn't have a show. So
you
there's
know,
no Mel and Charlie without all of you. And man, you guys got to know we appreciate you guys more than you know. Is it tough doing this? Absolutely. You know, my wife told me the other day. She said, you know, you got to come home, you got to set up, then you go on Charlie, then you do the post thing with Charlie, and you your whole evening. And I understand that. But if we're not doing this, who will? And I want COVID to go away. I want hotels to open. I want visitors to come back. I want this island to get back, this state really to get back to normal. But without properly informing and educating the community and letting them go down the road of this belief that this is not a serious issue, would be a disservice to all of us.
yeah,
So I know sometimes we irritate the crap out of some of you, and we apologize for that, but this
nah.
is the best way we know
They
how
understand.
to.
They understand. We irritate them. We big boys. It's okay. You guys can
Well,
take it, right?
I tell you right now, Charlie, I enjoy this.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoy doing this with Charlie. We are truly like brothers, and I just cannot imagine doing this with anybody else. But more importantly, all of you are now our Ohana, and I cannot wait for Charlie's concert at the
Yeah,
stadium when all's done. I cannot wait.
I cannot wait either. I just wonder who gonna play for you guys that night at the stadium.
Tomorrow night, guys, Feel Good Friday. Join us at 7 o'clock. We love you guys. You guys stay safe. Take care. God bless. And hey, let's get serious, guys. Support local and wear your damn masks. All right, guys. Aloha.
Aloha.